I'll be calling you out. This is an important video, and I've never done this video before because I didn't want to put the hex on myself. So this is important to get into the library because I was given 2 months to live 10 years ago. I was in real trouble 10 years ago right now. When this World Series is going on is when my last bone marrow, well, not my last bone marrow, but Game 3, the miracle Kevin Blanche. So, this is important. I was given 2 months to live. I have AML, Nuvo, OS, multiple myeloma with a marker of 44, which is unsurvivable. That's the painting of Megan Rice that was done while she was in prison by free radicals in the free radicals. We know what a free radical is, right? It's a cancer cell versus post. I'm going to do a show, free radicals versus the Post-Ignorance Project. So we worked on these together. We did a lot of them. Free radicals versus the Post-Ignorance. This is historic, important stuff. I want to get out a couple things in this video. Now, number one, the biggest miracle probably in baseball history. That was the day that I was probably going to die. It's Game 3 of the NLDS. You know, baseball metaphors matter. So, dig this out. This is important. So, this is the USS Reagan coat that the #1 top female ranking officer on the Reagan. That's her coat. This thing's got to be worth $1 million. Oceanside, California. Well, I was just there, talked to Mike. 11. It's got to be worth $1 million. I'll trade it. I ain't trading it to nobody, so I'm putting it in a museum. She died. So many of them have. One of the kids off the Reagan was in there with me. In 2012, he passed. So I want to talk about this. I was Dr. Thompson's he's a legend. A legend in this. I come from a family of legendary doctors. The incredible Thomas Blanche, who was always mad at me, who's actually my dad's. You know, I always call him my uncle, but he's really I don't know, he's my cousin, but he's older than me, but he saved my life from the grave. I had really legendary doctors. I had Vincent Hansen, his old partner, who's an anti-nuke, who just recently retired, who saved my life. And then Fimbo Petersen from Copenhagen, another anti-nuker, that's why they took me. Unsurvivable disease. They took me and they put a lot of work in and they experimented on me. I had RCM squared mush. I'm the first person, my case, February 26th that week is going to be in the American Medical Journal. It'll be under Fimbo's name and Vincent's name. To willingly do this without a transplant. So I had the experimental chemo. Now he walked into my room and he says, I was so sick. Celeste at the East State Bone Marrow Transplant says, Kevin Blanche, come here. I've been here 26 years. I ranked you when you came in. I did your paperwork. We ranked you as a red 10. 26 years, I've never seen a red 10 walk out. I expected you to go out that week in a body bag. She talks like that. She's a gem. You should be very proud of your fight. People ask me, how do you survive? Fighting back against the people that gave it to me. It's that simple. So, first person probably ever to survive this willingly without a transplant. Willingly. Doesn't happen. Marshall Jensen, the legendary famous case, is in the room next to me. You know, he's the most famous. He's the great pioneer. I love that dude. You know, he passed. But anyway, so they chemoed me heavy. They used the mushroom, the experimental. Fimbo overrode everybody. They used rounds. He overrode a lot of people. They wanted to do, I have 4 tattoos up me. They wanted to do radiation. He says, no, because he doesn't like it, Rachel Carson. I get it. So we finally agreed on very light radiation. So I have 4 tattoos on me. And they light radiated me very lightly. And the legendary doctor, Dr. Thompson, I was his very last patient. And I says, I will only do it if he does it. And he said, we're going to go very light, Kevin. And he did. Now, of course, the chemo, I had a Feldorg valve from birth. My nuked death father in the Nevada test site who died of cancer. Fimbo, I mean, he's that old. He was involved with him when he died. That's him. You know, yeah, Utah, Ogden does something for the Cold War veterans. He was killed during the Cold War, nuked to death. You know, look at my Uncle Claude. But this is the spit in the face this Blanche is getting. This community, we're the oldest. We've been here. They go to the cemetery. First one buried in the cemetery in Ogden, Utah. Last name's Blanche, killed by Little Soldier. You take our elder, we take it. And Little Soldier and him got along. So, I want to get this up. I had RCM squared. It's important because I want victims. I didn't have a transplant. Now, there's others now, from what I understand. I'm the first one ever to make it 10 years, willingly without a transplant. He walks into my room, Fimbo, and he says, Kevin, I could probably buy you 2-3 years of life. And almost guaranteed, I think. But then you'll die. But we can take a chance. There's a guy named Brian Morris we kind of experimented and almost killed. We patterned it after him. Now, he's recently had a transplant. His came back 9 years later, and he had a transplant that failed, but they gave him this super juice. His son Winston gave him a half match. He's alive. He's the toughest dude I ever met. So, or we can take a chance you might live to be an old man. Without hesitation. All in. I'm in the 1% study. And the 1% study, it's been old enough. We know the common denominator now of survivors of 1%ers. I'm one of those. Like my daughter, she's the biggest miracle in my career. Our risk takers. Well, we're the only one crazy enough to think we can beat it. So, hang in there, man. So, don't throw the baby out there. And I did it without trying. I did it organically with juice. I'm a big juicer. I juice every day. I can't get no beet juice anymore. We used to get the great Pico. I lived on Pico de Gallo. I would drink it fresh. It was fresh made, brought in from Arizona. I lived on the beet juice, organic. I lived on the beet carrot juice. I ate avocado. I ate a lot of bananas. I didn't have a hamburger for 6 years, you know. And so then I got into this. I worked with a dietitian. Been a hell of a fight, I can tell you that. So I want people to understand this. It's more. It's not left right. Oh, no chemo or chemo. No, it's dynamic. Fighting. That's the flip in the soup can. The intensity. The erotica. Oh boy, it all matters. It all matters. That's me and my twin sister when we were mutated little babies. So it all matters. It all matters. So, stay tuned. I wanted to get this up. I had very light radiation, and I'm not a fan of it, you know. So, and don't let them open you. They wanted to open me, gutted me. You got the choice. You can up and try to pull it out, which doesn't work. Physicists, they wanted to cut me open. I've been abused by the medical system. Mike Lee kicked me out Medicaid while I was in the unit. It's been a hardcore fight. I mean, I've been against the best. I've had the best and the worst of the medical industry. And I mean, I was a millionaire when I got it. And I went to a zero there real quick. So, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Stay tuned.